Guts and Griffith show us how we can be immune to porn addiction. Both characters similarly had an overarching dream, but their paths diverged and caused the two to be completely different. Once that dream was shattered in Griffith, he went to more instantly gratifying desires, like to go sleep with the princess. He went to these more instantly gratifying desires because he lost his vision for a better future. In his lowest moment, he betrayed his principles, seeking fleeting pleasures with the princess that offered temporary solace, but ultimately led to his downfall. When we lose sight of our long-term goals, we risk being consumed by short-term desires. For Guts, the story, the narrative, a lot of it is him trying to control his anger, his desires, his destructive behavior, because he knows that his behavior is destructive when he lets himself go, The demons Guts has to fight every night, evil things that he has to be constantly aware of, that will tempt him, trick him, or attack him outright with no respite. He'll be literally consumed by them if he slips up, if he lets himself go. The Berserker armor appears just when Guts seems to be at his most run down. Upon first use of the armor, he immediately gains a second wind and seems like he can do anything as long as he has the armor. When he stops using it though, all of the pains of the real world become very much real, as the armor is no longer there to numb the pain. So he continues using it, and as time goes on, he begins feeling the side effects of using it, His condition worsens when he's without it. He's weakened when he's without it. It's almost like he needs it now. His health begins to dwindle, almost as if he feels he cannot function without it. To me, this parallels the dwindling effect, the spiral downward of like a drug addict. A lot of people indulge in the substance of their choice when they feel like they're low, When they're low, they need a pick-me-up. And there it is. They notice that the drugs numb the pain of everyday life, and then they take this as a sign that, oh, maybe I should keep using it then. But then it starts to not work as much anymore. It starts to lose its effect. So either I need more, or I need to deal with it. And maybe it's kind of scary to deal with that head on, So maybe a lot of people would just keep doing more, keep upping the ante. If they stop using it, then they go through withdrawals, and that feels like the body can't function without it anymore, But the more that they use it, the more that they'll suffer later. With the more that they use it, the more they prolong using it, the more that they suffer, because they know that later on it's gonna be like hell to get through the withdrawals, With prolonged use, they begin suffering more and more side effects, but they feel they can't stop because they don't want to suffer through the pain of withdrawal. Guts' rage is also a substance he abuses, a crutch he was using to avoid the pain that would come with acceptance and healing of what's happened in his life. The armor specifically is just a magnification of it, but he's had the beast his entire life though. It's just grown stronger and more distinctly personalized as he's given into it more and more in his lowest points. There are many specific small moments, isolated times that could be called back to exemplify the idea of abusing a substance, being addicted to drugs, There's a lot of examples in the story of Berserk. But I think one that broadly encapsulates all of that is the brand of sacrifice, a mark which tells him that he will always have demons to fight as long as he has the mark, as long as he lives and breathes. I've read how this manga has helped many people battle and conquer their drug addiction, seeing themselves as the branded one, and having that internal struggle with the monster within, struggling for power, struggling to not give in to it. Life is a constant struggle, and we're all strugglers. We just have to push forward. Things will get better. We just have to make it better. We can't feel bad for ourselves when we control our destiny and we control how things go. We decide it. Remember, life is hard, but it's even harder if you don't do anything to change it. You don't do anything about it. Keep upgrading every day to become the best version of yourself. Keep your life and show everyone who you really are. Never settle. Always have the mindset of improvement. The worse you feel, the more you'll feel like you want to revert back to that addiction. But the more you feel like you want to revert back, the more you should draw on that feeling to feed your drive. That's what Guts does. He turns misery into power. Let your struggle be your strength. Remember what Guts did and how he kept fighting. And since his story hasn't finished, the fight will keep going until it's over. You gotta do the same. You gotta keep fighting. Keep fighting until you win. You have to struggle in life. You have to. Because you only have the one. After it's all done, then what happens? What's left? This is the time right now to deal with it now. You gotta walk barefoot through a path of broken glass and spikes and Lego pieces. That's life. It'll hurt and it'll be tough. You'll want to surrender. But if you don't surrender, you will eventually find something worth the struggle. Keep struggling. Keep fighting. Keep swinging your giant sword of hope. Don't let your inner demons take over. You are capable of this and much more. Go out there and struggle. Show the world what you can do, what you're capable of. Show the world how far you can go. There's no fighting just to die. Keep struggling and struggling until the end of ends. Then struggle some more. Guts says, if you're alone, if it's just your life, you can use it however you please. Wear yourself out. Get cut to ribbons. Doesn't matter. But when there's two, the blade grows heavy. Fighting like death doesn't concern you becomes a thing of the past. It's no longer just you. I threw away my way of life, relied on the strength of others, and somehow pushed on. Our dreams, our relationships, our aspirations, they give us hope for the future. They give us purpose. They make the struggle worthwhile. Remember that life is hard. I said this already. Remember that life is hard. But it's harder if we refuse to act. Keep improving. Let your pain and challenges fuel your drive. Let your struggle be your strength. Whether you're battling addiction, dealing with setbacks, or trying to reach like a distant goal, something that seems almost too far away, draw inspiration from Guts. Fight your demons. Swing your sword of hope. Show the world and yourself how far you can go. I think that Guts and Griffith were not so different before Guts had left. I mean, yes, they were different for sure, but I think they were both on a good path of constantly trying to outwork and compete with each other. When I was watching the anime, this is what I noticed. Because it reminded me of how Hamza was saying, like, brotherly, the YouTuber Hamza, he talks about, like, brotherly competition. Like, masculine brotherly competition. That's what Guts and Griffith reminded me of in the anime. Even though some people think they're gay, that's not really, I mean, okay, sometimes pretty gay, but that's not what I really noticed. I noticed that they were like how Hamza described masculine brotherhood. I thought that Guts and Griffith were quite similar to each other, always trying to one-up the other. Once Guts decided he no longer wanted to just serve Griffith's dream, even though he was all the while still improving himself during his time with the Band of the Hawk, it's almost like we saw what would happen if Guts gave up, because that's what happened to Griffith. Griffith gave up. Guts hasn't given up yet. He lost sight of his grander ambition, and so almost naturally reverted back to a lower state of being. And maybe you can relate to this. Sometimes it can seem like we're making a lot of progress, and then something bad happens, like we fail or just have a bad day or something. And then all of a sudden, the habits we've been building, the person we were becoming starts to shatter, and we revert back to the habits that we thought that we'd long since, like, gotten over. But actually, I think that this is okay to happen. I just wanted to draw the connection, because I think that this is why Griffith went to go sleep with the princess right away after Guts left. Because, you know, he was on such a high rise, high projected trajectory. How could this guy ever fall for, like, low tier stuff? You know, he's such a high tier. How could he fall for the low tier stuff? Because when you lose sight, when you lose clarity like that, then it becomes easy to, like, fall for tricks you've fallen for already, you know? Go back to the basics. Start jerking off again. When we feel bad or feel like we've failed or feel abandoned, we can do things that are instantly gratifying that we thought we might never do again. Because it's so easy and stupid. For many of us, that's porn. So what can we learn from this? Honestly, it's okay to mess up like how Griffith did initially, okay? Not what he did later, okay? Sometimes we might stumble and fall into instant gratification when we feel low, but the choice then becomes, are we gonna stay down? Are we gonna stay down after we fell down, like Griffith did? Or are we gonna get back up? Griffith, everything that could have went wrong for him. You know, he got caught with the princess, and then he was tortured for years. Like, I mean, yeah, it's the truth, right? Are you gonna stay down? I mean, maybe, I don't, it's hard. Like, did he have a choice? He had to stay down because he was being tortured. But just picture it like this, okay? Are you gonna stay down? Are you gonna stay down? Or are you gonna get back up, like Guts? Permit the feeling to pass through you. Accept that it happened. And then get back up. Try your best. Try your best to get back up. I'm not saying get back up. Try your best to get back up. I think that's the part that Griffith missed. I don't know. I didn't see what happened when he was in the torture dungeon, but maybe he just completely gave up and didn't even try. You know? There's always something left to try. A journey will have pain and failure. It's inevitable. It is not only the steps forward that we must accept. It is the stumbles, the trials, the knowledge that we will fail, that we will hurt people around us. But if we stop, if we accept the person we are when we fail, then that's when the journey ends. That failure becomes our destination. To love the journey is to accept no such end. I have found through painful experience that the most important step a person can take is always the next step. Life before death, strength before weakness, journey before destination. Today is January 23rd. I have a feeling like this isn't going to get uploaded today. So whatever day it is for you, I hope you're having a good day. Keep trying your best. All right? I'm getting hungry. Talk to you later.